Good morning, friends, and happy Tuesday. It is time for Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. So nice to see you, Kristin.
It's nice to see you. Look at my cup is so full today. I'm lacking in my coffee consumption so far. So
Is this the first sip of the day?
it's not the first sip of the day, but I gave myself a healthy refill when I got home from taking the girls. So it's very full and very hot.
I always wonder if there's like a visible transformation from a person who's gotten up and hasn't had their coffee yet to taking that first sip. Like the little sparkles just kind of like shine around the head or something.
I say yes. Yes, there is.
Good morning, Stephen. Even if it's metaphorical, it certainly feels that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, coffee is going in, like showering is happening and other things are happening that make me look more like this and less like the morning version of myself, but
It's like a transformation.
it is.
So, hey, you had a special occasion. Let's talk really
Sorry.
quickly about
My lighting is poopy today.
about
Yeah.
this handsome guy and this amazing birthday cake.
So my dad turned 80 yesterday. Yesterday was his
Aw,
real birthday.
happy birthday.
And um my mom actually made that cake for him because she's a fabulous baker. And yeah, we went out. So we went to the Elbow Room on Saturday night, which is now owned by Jeremiah Novak. So congratulations, Jeremiah. It was very good.
Yeah.
So we had a really nice dinner celebrating his birthday and went back to their house for coffee and cake and just visiting on Saturday night. And then last night, the girls and Doug and I just went over to visit with him and give him a few extra birthday hugs.
Very nice. That is awesome. Happy 80th birthday to your dad.
I
It's a
know.
huge accomplishment. And is it just the camera angle or is that cake huge?
The cake is huge. We all took cake home and there was still cake left.
Where did your mom get a pan that huge? I'm just trying to think, like, how would you make a cake?
No, so that is maybe my mom will be on and be able to answer this. It's either two 12-inch or two 14-inch round pans, and there's icing in the middle.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's not actually like that. It's not like this deep. It's really like this deep stacked on top of each other. Does that make sense?
Yep. The secrets of a baker. I always forget. Yeah.
So, and
Nice.
since we're on the topic of coffee, can you put that picture up for one more second?
Oh, yeah.
My dad is a coffee
Look at the cup.
king. He drinks coffee from the time he wakes up in the morning until the time he goes to bed. I agree, Anna. They are made with love. He probably only drinks water to maybe take pills, and even then, sometimes not. He's done this his whole life. Like every now and then he'll have a diet soda, but like really coffee is his jam, and it always has been. And you can see this very retro coffee cup on the left. It is a melamine 19, probably early 70s, I would guess, coffee cup that we are not allowed to wash.
Yeah, we should point out it's not filled with coffee in this photo. That's like stained in there, right?
That is not staining, that is seasoning. And I have on multiple occasions in my early years wanted to like take a scouring pad and scrub that cup. We are not allowed to. And now I've just really come to appreciate the fact that he like that's him. That's his cup. That's his coffee seasoning. Like he said, if we wash the cup, it would not taste as good out of that cup.
Does he drink his coffee just straight black?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And when we were growing up, I think he did more like cream and sugar, but he grew out of it. In his maturity, he is now a straight black coffee drinker.
Well, I got to tell you, this is probably one way to ensure that nobody else is ever going to mess with his coffee cup, right? Because who would want to pick that up and drink out of it? So brilliant move.
Right.
Nice.
So,
hey, have your kids ever mistakenly said something and it was just so cute you didn't want to correct them? Like I came across this tweet and it just resonated, right? This person said, instead of yeet, my 6-year-old yells yeast, and I will never, ever correct her.
so I have a bit of a confession because I had to look up the definition of yeet. which by itself indicates how old I am.
And it just means your kids aren't quite old enough yet to
So
embrace
sad.
it.
Like, what does yeet mean? So yeet is just another version of like yes in an excited fashion. So let's just start with that definition for those of you who are clearly on the same page as I am, which is I know what yeet means. And then yes, I love it. Why would you ever? It's cute.
My son started saying yeet, and I was like, no, this is not a word. Like, stop
Yes.
saying that. And I thought it was just something he had come up with. And it turns out it's like this whole phenomenon of like that age group. And obviously now beyond, it's part of the lexicon.
So I agree with you. I sometimes feel like you sound less intelligent when you use these words that are not words. Like for a while, the phrase in our house was bruh. Kind of like bro, but youperish, a youper bro. And in our house, Doug's the only bro to begin with. So, you know, a lot of the time it's the girls and I because he's gone at work. And I'm like, there's no bruh here. You can't use bruh to address your siblings or
I'm your mom. I'm not your bruh. Yeah, yep.
Definitely
I've had that
And then
conversation too.
we started saying like, are you saying bra? And then that kind of shut it down. Then they're like, no, we don't want to have these conversations. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the deal. Like, Jason, bruh.
So Stephen said, his cousin said, Yasmete for Yosemite. Aww.
I love it. When Josie was little, she would say strawberries like they were French. And for a very long time, she would say strawberries. And then we would say, like, would you like some strawberries? And she doesn't do it anymore, but it was very cute in the time.
Yeah, when my son was small, you know, he had a dimple and we talk about his dimple. And so then he thought nipples were nimples. So, you know, he'd be like, oh, you know, my nipple, blah, 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 blah. And it was so cute. I'm like, I am never correcting that. Yes. Unfortunately, he figured it out and he's grown out of it. But
does he still have dimples?
Not that I've recognized or seen lately, but he's a teen, so maybe he just doesn't smile quite as much.
We noticed last weekend or 2 weekends ago, we had friends over and we watched Christmas Vacation, even though we were behind the holidays a little bit. And in that movie, and I don't know what her name is, Chevy Chase's wife, like kisses her finger and then puts it in his chin dimple. And all of us were like, oh, we never have noticed that Chevy Chase had a chin dimple before.
Yeah, he's kind of like famous for that chin dimple.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of what her name is. It starts with an A. Jason would know if Jason's still on.
Yeah. Jason, we need our data guy.
Purple. Aw.
Very awesome.
Cute. That is awesome.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Do you know what is coming up at the library? I just have to show you this. First of all, this is from 2018 when something similar happened. I was looking back through my photos and there's like a whole grid of them in my photos. Here's a close up one. Isn't this amazing? Look at that's in the library. It's a silk aerialist.
So you guys, we work out with one of the ladies that works at the library, Miss Amy. And she is so excited about this. Like she made a point to come and say like, Doug and Kristin, you have to bring the girls. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Now you guys were there. You took this photo, correct?
I did. Yeah. And it blew my mind that it was happening and that, you know, it wasn't overcrowded. Like I couldn't believe I was getting to watch this and it was free. And it's going to be this Saturday, the 12th. And because of Novak Service Center sponsorship, it is again free. There's like food and beverages. If you guys don't mind, I've got a little video clip. Let me play this little clip. It's going to be loud and we won't be able to talk over it, but just check this out. This is a clip from then. Oh my God, I just just marvel at the strength of being able to do that.
You need to be so incredibly strong to do that. I admire that so much. So cool.
And what's
So
cool is there was like, and I'm not sure if this is the plan again, but I would imagine they had like stilt walkers and jesters and other people in costumes like circulating around. It was such a fun and unique experience. I can't
yeah,
wait to
my
go again.
understanding is all of those things will be there. And the other really cool thing since that event is the main desk for the library has been moved. So in that video, you guys saw that their central desk used to be in the middle. It's up by the
Yeah.
doors now. So they have like this whole amazing big space in the middle that they're going to host this event. And I think it's going to be really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I just have to bring it up because I'm not sure if everybody knows about it. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that it's free and the fact that it's right in the middle of the library and these people are doing amazing things, these aerialists.
Mhm,
I also learned the word funambulist. Do you know what the word funambulist
mhm.
means? It's a tightrope walker.
Uh, Say it again.
Funambulist.
The
Like
fabulous.
like ambulate, meaning to walk.
Yep.
And the fun, I don't know if that's just because it's fun. No, I'm sure that probably refers to like the rope or a tricky situation or
Sure.
something.
That is cool. Okay, so this coming Saturday in the evening, go to the library and check out those aerialists and acrobatics. I do believe that it is going to be amazing.
I think so too. By the way, going back to the funny terms, Anna said her 3-year-old said last night she likes the game Minecraft instead of Minecraft.
Is there an element of truth in that? Is that like a Freudian slip?
That game is kind of amazing.
Is
My
it?
son has learned so much about engineering and like the requirements of how you put things together to make other things happen. So much so that last night, nope, 2 nights ago now, it's midnight. We're all getting ready for bed, and our house is 100 years old, and so it's got like 100-year-old doorknobs, right? Like those glass doorknobs. And he's like, "You know what? This the little clicker that clicks into the door frame, he's like, this is backwards. It's why your door shuts so hard." I'm like, wait, what? Like I'm trying to go to sleep, right? He's like, I think I could fix that. I'm like, okay, no, what? And he's like, and he kept talking about it. I'm like, okay, then get a tool. Let's see what you can do. And so all of a sudden at midnight, there's like this project happening. And sure enough, he and dad together figured it out. And it was like, huh, even though it's weird timing, it was a really good, like teachable moment. And I
Yeah,
think probably helped him have confidence that he saw this problem, he thought it through, and he figured out how to fix it.
right. Well, it just even to recognize that like that very intricate little detail was not that was off, right? Like how cool is that that he's able to I feel like a lot of kids would just cruise right by it.
Yeah, I never knew. I always thought that the door closed hard just because, over all the years, maybe it needed to be sanded down or something.
Right. So does it close more softly now?
It's so much better. It like functions so much better. Yeah. So if your
So
kids come to you at midnight with a crazy idea, sometimes you just have to foster that.
I was just gonna say, I want to just give you a shout out for honoring that in the moment because I think I probably would have said, I love the idea and I'm willing to let you try, but this is a project for after school tomorrow.
Is that because you would have had your do not disturb on?
Probably. Not just on my phone, but in my brain.
Yeah.
So you guys, just so you guys know, every morning I put chapstick on before the show, but I was in a bit of a rush today, so I didn't. Because I
That's right.
otherwise
We are moms and we are entrepreneurs, and so it's a constant hustle.
whew. So let me just start out by saying this. I snapped this screen last night as I was laying in bed and texted Tina as we often do on Monday nights. Because I had this thought about I use this do not disturb feature. I actually have it set up. It turns on at 9 p.m. at night and it's on until 7 a.m. the next morning. And so what that means is if a Facebook notification, if a text message, any of those things, phone calls that I don't have saved as a VIP, if any of those things come in, it does not notify me. It keeps my phone quiet. And unless I specifically pick it up and look at it, I would never know that something has come through. And so then it made me curious, like, do other people use this? Are we using this tool? Are you
That is
using this
great for
tool?
productivity. I never thought about doing that for the night. Like I've used that feature before, like if I'm going into a meeting or some kind of presentation, if there's something I just cannot take an interruption about, but I never thought about putting it on for the night. That is really smart.
Well, I think one of the things is like, and I probably should even do it earlier. I could probably have it on at 7 or 8, but like, I want to read and wind down for the night and be doing things that are slowing my brain down. And so if I'm on my phone, text messaging, playing Candy Crush, doing whatever, then I might not allowing my brain to settle. Now, I'll be honest, there are nights where I may be catching up with girlfriends or something like that's the time that I'm finally free. So sometimes I will pick it up and respond to messages, but I don't have to. There's that kind of healthy boundary there for me if I want to use it. Does that make sense?
It does. I think it is so important that we remain the masters of our tools. You know, we call these phones, but this is so much more than a phone, right? But we have to be the ones that stay in charge and not let it drive us. You know, I've been with people before where they are literally a slave to their phone. If it dings, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter what conversation we were in the middle of or activity we were doing or whatever. Like they veer away and that's what they do.
Right. Right. And I'll say this, you know, like my mom and dad, my siblings, Doug's mom and dad, they're saved in there as VIPs. So if my mom calls because she needs something, there's an emergency, it will ring through the phone. So it's not like I've totally shut things off and people don't have any access to get to us. If my mom calls, it will come through, but everybody else is kind of just gently put on hold.
Right. Right. And then kind of like what Race is saying, then at your convenience, you can pick up your phone and look, and it will still show you those notifications. It's just not interrupting what you're doing to tell you that there's a notification.
Yeah. If I'm going to allow it, I allow it to be a distraction versus like it's going to be a distraction all on its own. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It totally does. It totally does. That's a great hack, a great like life tip there. How to be more in control.
Yeah. And yeah, because it's so easy. I think sometimes too, Doug and I like run all day and do stuff all day between work and the kids. And so sometimes when we're getting 8 or 9 o'clock, that might be the only time in the day that he and I have to connect. And then like, how fun is it to connect with your partner if they're like, yeah, yeah, let's do that. Right. Like that's not engaging with your spouse. Right. So, I think it's important. Like, I feel like at the end of the night, I owe it to him to put my phone down as he does for me. Like we both have gotten in a good habit of doing that,
and it's challenging, right? Like as a small business owner, you want to stay connected and aware, but you also have to have those boundaries. Like if you don't carve out, like you were saying, that time for you and your husband to just connect, it'll all fall to pieces.
Right. And I mean, I try to speak this into myself as much as I speak this into other people. Dentist's office closes at 5. The doctor's office closes at 5. The banks close at 5. KLO or Vagabond can also close at 5. Right? If there's something that's emergency or something that's for the next morning that I feel like I need to respond to or get ahead of, I can. But the reality is if I get to it the next morning, it's probably okay.
Especially when you consider that we're modeling behavior for the kids that we're raising, right? Like if my son or your daughters always see that you're engaged and it's like, like if you don't have the time for them, they're not going to see it as a priority to make time in the future for us or for their families.
Right. So,
well, you know, speaking of entrepreneurs and small business owners, I got this shot from, a job site I was on the other day, and it just made me realize we do whatever it takes to get the job done. You know, we have to get the shot. We go where it's required. We do what's needed. And it's awesome because when I came back to the studio and I showed Jason, he's like, okay, just take them off. And he immediately took care of it for me. He's like, he handed me a cup of coffee. He took my boots, cleaned them up. It was like amazing. It was such a cool, like,
that's nice. Hey, listen, please tell me that's mud and not concrete.
Oh, it is mud. Yes. It's mud. You know, so with winter, with the permafrost, it's awesome when you go out to like a job site or something, you have like this, you know, frozen tundra to walk on. But this was that day where it was suddenly 42 degrees. And so what had been all frosted, you know, was now like 3-inch mud. It was like you could hear it squish and like goop as you walked through. And I'm like,
I feel like that's the kind of stuff that kids would put boots on and get into,
I think so. I
right?
think had I been, 40 years younger, I would have experienced it in a totally different way.
Like one of my girlfriends said around that same time, her sons and the neighbor boys decided that they really needed to play flag football on that weekend, but it wasn't flag football because they were covered in mud. And, it's like, I guess we're going to have to wash some laundry and maybe clean up boots, but like they had such a blast getting into it. It was just they capitalized on the moment. How about that?
Yeah. And that's awesome. And what a good perspective too, to realize, you know what? Yes, it's a mess, but it can all be cleaned up. It can all be washed off. And so having that experience is way more powerful than, oh, don't get mud on your clothes.
Right. Well, or not only that, but like these boys were entertained for an extended period of time. And I think as a parent, we can all be like, yeah, I think the muddy clothes are worth the freedom I had for an hour or something like that. We've got to see the moments when we can enjoy them.
Right, right. Hey, I was thinking we were talking about the cute words that people have said. I remember my son used to call it Happy Green Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And I never wanted that to change. I want this officially changed. Happy
Right.
Green Patrick's Day.
Green Patrick's Day. It probably can't be changed from St. Patrick. I think that's kind of an important part of the day, right?
Yeah, probably. I'm probably like a cause of one here, but it was just so cute, to imagine the interpretation, like what a little mind goes through as they're processing what people are saying in the world around them.
I think Green Patrick, that makes a lot of sense.
Hey, and Tom Drill was all dressed up as St. Patrick. He had that like gorgeous satin green, cloak and everything on. So I'm sure it was easy to make that connection.
Do we have a St. Patrick's Day parade this year in Manitowoc?
I think so. I think I heard that it's at like 11 a.m. on a Saturday.
Okay.
And you know what else they're doing? They're doing some kind of city to city leprechaun hunt. And that's going to be over a couple of days. That includes St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
But apparently there's going to be like hidden leprechauns and you have to take photos with each of the leprechauns. And if you send it in, you can maybe get a prize or something. I don't know all the details, but I just heard about it.
We'll have to get the scoop because St. Patrick's Day, I just looked, is a Thursday. So maybe it's the weekend after, the weekend before.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they make that decision. So I can't say which one it is for sure.
Sure. I saw Jason, our very helpful data analyst, came back. Beverly D'Angelo is the name of the wife character in Christmas Vacation. I think Vegas Vacation, and was she the wife in The Great Outdoors with Candy as well? Or am I mixing up two people?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Beverly D'Angelo. Anyway, the wife of Chevy Chase's character in Christmas Vacation.
Nice. Jason, thanks for being on the spot with that. That's awesome.
I know. We're so lucky.
I know we are so lucky. And tell me, who was lucky to get this pan of amazing looking cinnamon buns?
Oh, so Saturday, we were very fortunate. We have some friends that we spend a lot of time in the summer. We tend to go camping with them, but we haven't gotten to visit with them in a while. And so they came over for kind of brunch lunch on Saturday, and I made homemade cinnamon rolls. And so they were the benefactors of this. We all were. But I was so like, do you ever have this where actually Jason probably totally understands this because he's been making pizzas. So you like strive to have something not only taste good, but like look really good. And when I was rolling these out, like I can feel in the dough that it's going to be like a good batch of dough. And then when I cut them, they had all these like swirls and I was like, yes. And I said to Doug, like, I've got a good feeling about this. And, so then they like the dough rises and then you like mix some other stuff into it and get the flour mixed in and roll them up and then they sit and rise again. And so this is how they turned out. They were gorgeous and they were so delicious.
They look so good. And kind of what you were saying, how you could feel that the dough was going to turn out. That can't happen the very first time you try something, right? That only comes from experience. And I think that's why they say to be a master, it takes 10,000 times of doing something. But it's because you start to get that understanding, that like tactile sense or.
Right. And I mean, maybe I saw Steve just shared that his wife makes homemade cinnamon rolls, so maybe he can chime in on this. But like, first of all, I was very lucky. I have a recipe from one of my girlfriends that these come together very easily. So that helps. And I like to think of myself as a baker also. So like cookie dough, I have a good sense of like what cookie dough should look like. And we've made rolls before. So I have a sense about, kind of how should roll dough feel. So that certainly helps me in the cinnamon roll department. But I made these over Christmas, and one of the batches I didn't put enough flour in. So they were just a little bit like, they still tasted really good. They were just a little bit flatter. They weren't like as proud. Where again, like these, I was like, this is going to be a good batch.
Yeah, I mean, I almost want to lick the screen. They do look really, really good.
Maybe
Do you
the
then do you frost them too, or do you leave them just like that?
So I made a homemade cream cheese frosting with a little bit of almond extract in, and then we frosted most of them.
I think next time we should do this. We should do this live from your house, Kristin.
Oh my gosh! Hey, listen, this is a different topic, but I've had multiple people say that we need to go live from Silver Lake for ice fishing.
That's a great idea. I'm not sure about the Wi-Fi out there.
Homemade pie crust too. Yes.
A homemade crust makes all the difference.
Homemade everything makes all the difference.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Valentine's Day is coming up, so I suggest everybody watching make something homemade for their sweetheart.
Oh, that's a good challenge. And you can message Tina or I with your pictures. You can't send them to can they message them to Coolest Coast?
It seems like Facebook doesn't allow commenting with photos, but if you send it via Messenger, like Facebook Messenger to me or to Coolest Coast, then we could upload it and have it ready for the show.
Okay. So if you make something homemade, homemade pasta, Steve said too. If you make something homemade for Valentine's Day for your loved ones, we want to see it so we can talk about it on the show. Now, this brings up a good point. So next Valentine's Day is Monday. Next Tuesday, I will be off. Tina is giving me a vacation day.
No show Tuesday, February 15th.
I have other very important obligations that day.
Kristin's Do Not Disturb is going to be on all day that day. So no show next week.
So I didn't know if you and Jason were going to do the show or if we were going to pick up the following week.
We will pick up the following week. That gives everybody a solid week of being able to cook something at home and share their photos.
So on Tuesday, January 22nd, that's when you'll get to see the homemade goodies.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see what everybody makes. And, hint, hint, Jason, if you're watching, pizza totally qualifies. I would take a pizza.
Yeah, and you can make heart-shaped pizza. Yeah. What's your favorite kind of pizza that Jason's made so far?
I don't think I've had a bad one. Usually he has made me one with like Kalamata olives and mushrooms and yellow peppers, and that was awesome. I'm like, okay, this is my favorite. And then he made like a sausage and mushroom one. I'm like, okay, wait, no, this is not my favorite. So I don't think I can hone in on just one.
I love it. Well, I will send a little extra vibes into the universe that you get a heart-shaped pizza from your hubby.
Ah, awesome. Well, happy Valentine's Day to you. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody watching. Thanks so much for joining us. Do you call it, do any of your kids call it Valentine's Day?
No, they have in the past, but we're kind of beyond that. Makes me sad. Yeah, Valentine's Day.
All right. Well, thanks so much for watching, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks on Coffee with Kristin and Tina.
Bye, guys.